What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of 101 Sports and Cards. As I'm Nathan Holloway, and with me, Jared Dresch.
What's up?
We're starting in the NFL. There are only 2 weeks left in the regular season. I will get to the playoff picture after we go through the games from last week and we preview the games this week. So some big news. TJ Hawkinson's out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL and MCL. Of course, the Vikings have a big matchup against the Packers, which we'll talk about later this weekend as they're trying to hang on to a playoff spot, and they just lost their third best receiver, but he is tight end. The Giants are to start Tyrod Taylor over Tommy DeVito this weekend after Tommy completely sucked against the Eagles. The Commanders are benching Sam Howell. They will start Jacoby Brissett this weekend. Clearly, Sam Howell, he's not the quarterback of the future. And the Broncos are benching Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. They will start Jared Stidham, and we have probably seen the last time Russ is in a Broncos jersey because they are expected to cut him, although they will be it's a lot of money and picks that they wasted for nothing. So Week 16 recap. The Rams beat the Saints on Thursday night 30-22. Matthew Stafford, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, his impressive season just continues, 104 yards and a touchdown. Puka had the best game of his young career, 164 yards and a touchdown. Derek Carr on the other side had 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also had a pick. So are the Rams a sneaky team in the NFC to watch out for?
They have been the whole year.
I agree with that. Nobody's talking about the Rams. The Rams have the second best offense in the NFC.
The defense
in my
is
opinion,
kind of held behind.
Because the only offense that's better is the 49ers. This Rams offense is very good. The Bills outlasted the Chargers 24-22. Josh Allen had 237 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Gabe Davis 130 yards and a touchdown. Steelers blew out the Bengals 34-11. Mason Rudolph 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is their starter this weekend as well. George Pickens had 4 catches, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Browning 335 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Can Mason Rudolph lead the Steelers to the playoffs?
Yeah. He's better than Kenny Pickett. I think he can. He played really well these last couple games he's played.
I'm going to say I don't know, because the AFC is just, there's so many teams on the bubble, and if you lose once in the next 2 weeks, there's a possibility you're out. So, I'm going to say I don't know. The Packers survived the Panthers 33-30 with a game-winning field goal by Anders Carlson. Jordan Love, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown against a very good Panthers pass defense. And Aaron Jones had 127 yards on the ground. Bryce Young, his best game as a starter, had 312 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game should not have been close. Joe Barry deserves to be fired. I say that every week because our defense just continues to blow it. We had like a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter and blew it because our defense is just trash. And then what do? We suspend Jair Alexander for this upcoming weekend. You know, we're in a playoff battle. We could still make the playoffs. We need a lot of stuff to go right. But, you know, let's just suspend our best corner for doing literally nothing because he did not suit up for the game last week. He went out for the coin toss, and but, you know, he wasn't a captain because he didn't suit up, and they suspended him a game for that. It's so stupid. And then the even better thing, after the game, Matt LaFleur refuses to blame the defense for anything. Because him and Joe Barry apparently they might as well be married at this point. Because he refused to throw him under the bus. And instead said the offense is the reason. They put up 33 points against although the Panthers' offense is trash. Panthers' defense actually isn't that bad. They put up 33 points. You're going to blame the offense. Please get rid of it. The Browns took down the Texans 36-22. Joe Flacco had 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Amari Cooper set the Browns' receiving record in a game with 265 yards. He also had 2 touchdowns. Davis Mills came in the fourth quarter, on which the Texans actually made a run because they did bench everybody. The Browns did. Davis Mills came in through 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jets blew a huge lead to the Commanders, but they were still able to get the win 30-28 on a game-winning field goal. They led this game like 27-7 at one point, and they then blew it where they were down 28-27. Somehow they won. Trevor Siemian got the start. He had 217 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Breece Hall, 95 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 96 receiving yards. The Seahawks got a huge win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They rallied to beat the Titans 20-17. Geno Smith had 227 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the other side, Derrick Henry had 88 rushing yards and a touchdown. He also had a passing touchdown. He has more passing touchdowns this year than Ryan Tannehill, and Ryan Tannehill did start this game. The Falcons blew out the Colts 29-10. Taylor Heineke turned 29 yards and a touchdown. Bijan had 72 yards, and Kyle Pitts had a touchdown. It's amazing what the Falcons can do. whenever they get their star players involved. The Lions beat the Vikings 30-24. They clinched the NFC North for the first time since 1993. Jared Goff had 257 yards and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 106 yards and a touchdown. And Nick Mullins on the other side, he threw for 411 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also threw for 4 interceptions. Nick Mullins ain't the guy. The Bucs dominated the Jags 30-12. Baker had 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans had 86 yards and caught them 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence had 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and suffered a sprained right AC joint, so he's questionable for this weekend. The Jaguars are now just a game ahead of both the Texans and the Colts for the division lead. They could easily find themselves out of the playoffs. The downfall of the Jags is amazing. A team that has not had a downfall, though, the Bears. The Bears continue to win. They now have 6 wins on the year. They beat the Cardinals 27-16. Justin Fields had 170 yards, a touchdown and a pick through the air, 97 rushing yards and a rush touchdown. Khalil Herbert had 112 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And Kyler Murray had 230 yards and 2 touchdowns for Arizona. The Dolphins outlasted the Cowboys 22-20 on a game-winning field goal. Of course, they clinched a playoff spot. They have not clinched the division yet. I believe they can with a win this weekend because their last week is against the Bills, in which if the Dolphins lose this week and the Bills win this week and the Bills win, they would end up clinching the division the last week of the season, which is just amazing. Tua had 293 yards and a touchdown. Dak had 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Patriots upset the Broncos 26-23 on a game-winning 56-yard field goal. Bailey Zappi continues to play well. 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russ had 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do you think that if they would have started Bailey Zappi the whole year, that they'd be better than when they had Mac Jones?
Horrible. They might get one more win. Team's still bad.
It's amazing, though, that they cut Bailey Zappi before the season, signed him to the practice squad, and now he's their starter over Mac Jones. The Raiders beat the Chiefs 20-14 despite not completing a pass after the first quarter. Crazy stat. Of course, the Raiders had 2 defensive touchdowns in a matter of 7 seconds. Yeah, 7 seconds.
This game was awesome.
I didn't watch it.
I did. I laughed the whole time.
I was watching basketball. Zamir White had 145 yards. Mahomes had 235 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. This Chiefs team, they're going to be a first-round exit. They cannot win the AFC now, so Mahomes, if they get past the first round, because they're going to get a home game, because they're going to win the division, because the division's just terrible. I mean, the second best team in the division is the Raiders right now, and they're not that good. But if the Chiefs, I don't think they will get past the first round. Mahomes will have his first away playoff. The Eagles escaped the Giants 33-25 to stop their losing streak. Jalen Hurts had 301 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He also had a rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 92 yards and a touchdown. Tyrod Taylor, of course, took over for Tommy DeVito. He had 133 yards, a touchdown, and then a pick that ended the game on a Hail Mary pass. And the biggest game of the week, and probably the season so far, the Ravens dominated the 49ers 33-19. Lamar Jackson had 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 72 yards and a touchdown. Brock Purdy, 255 yards, but 4 interceptions. He ended up getting benched after he got hurt, although he was cleared to come back in. McCaffrey had 103 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Kittle, 126 yards. Ayuk, 113 yards. Sam Darnold came in, had 81 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So the Ravens clearly are the best team in the NFL. Week 17 preview. There's no Monday night game this week. Instead, there will be a special edition of Monday Night Football on Saturday, which we'll talk about after the Thursday night game. Thursday night is Jets and Browns. The Browns need a win. The Jets, they have one of the best defenses in the league. Can Joe Flacco go off against the Jets?
Browns.
I'm also going with the Browns. Saturday, Lions and Cowboys.
Lions!
I'm going with the Lions just because they're going to be able to run against. If you can run against the Cowboys defense, you can win. The Lions have 2 great running backs, and Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie, and David Montgomery. I believe the Lions win this game. Sunday, quite a few good games. We're going to start out. We're going to start out with the Dolphins and Ravens. I'm saving this one because it's a rivalry between us. Dolphins and Ravens. Of course, if the Ravens win, they clinch the best record in the AFC. I'm also going to go with the Ravens. Saints and Bucks. If the Bucks will win, I believe they clinch the terrible NFC South, but this Buccaneers team is dangerous.
I'm going with Baker. Big's playing good.
I'm going with the Bucks. I think the Bucks can make a run. Like they're really good. The Baker to Mike Evans connection is unbelievable. And who would have thought after Tom Brady retiring, we'd see the Bucks being in the playoff race, and they're going to be in the playoffs. Steelers and Seahawks, both teams need a win
Seahawks.
I'm also going to go with the Seahawks. And another game, Bengals and Chiefs. Bengals need to win. The Chiefs need to win as well.
Yeah.
In Arrowhead.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs, unfortunately. I don't think the Bengals can get it done.
I'm going with the Bengals on the road after they got absolutely thumped last week by the Steelers. I think they come in to Kansas City and win. The Chiefs, they
suck.
They're really not that good.
Mahomes sucks now. Travis Kelce's horrible. It's awesome.
It is.
I love it.
And Sunday night, a little rivalry between us. The Packers and the Vikings, both teams are tied in the standings. Both teams need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. It is in Minnesota. You know who I'm taking.
Yeah. I'm also going to agree with you.
The Packers?
Yeah. The Vikings, they're not doing anything, dude.
Go Pack, go, baby. We're making a playoff run. Jordan, I'm starting you over Joe Flacco for third place since I lost to John, unfortunately. Because, of course, Christian McCaffrey, they still couldn't stop him. They could stop everybody else. Couldn't stop freaking Christian McCaffrey. So I need you to come through, Jordan.
MVP.
So the playoff standings with 2 weeks left to go. Of course, the Ravens and Dolphins are the only teams in the AFC who have clinched the playoff spot. The Ravens, with a win over the Dolphins, can clinch the 1 seed. The Chiefs and the Jaguars lead their divisions. The Browns are right now the 5 seed. The Browns have the 3rd best record in the AFC. The Browns are a sneaky good team, especially with Joe Flacco playing like he is. I never thought I'd be talking about Joe Flacco like this, but maybe he's not as overrated as I thought. And just to tell you, whenever we give our playoff predictions, I'm going to have the Browns going very far. I'm not going to spoil that. The Bills are the 6th seed. They're 9-6. They're a game up on the Colts. The Colts hold the last spot. They're tied with the Texans. The Colts have the tiebreaker, but there are 4 teams tied at 8-7 with the Colts, Texans, Steelers, and Bengals. Of course, the Raiders and Broncos, they still have a chance. They're a game back of the Colts. Every other team in the AFC has been eliminated. Who do you think gets the final playoff spot between the Browns? Well, the Browns are going to be in, no matter what. I don't know how the Browns have it clinched. Between the Bills, Colts, Texans, Steelers, and Bengals. Who gets them last 2 spots?
Bills. The Texans.
I'm also going to go with the Bills and the Texans. I would have said the Colts. If you would have told me a few weeks ago, I would have said the Colts were going to be in. The Minshew magic has wore off, and the Colts have been playing terrible. Of course, the Texans get C.J. Stroud back this weekend. They should.
And the Bills are scary.
I think the Bills are the 3rd best team in the AFC. Behind the Ravens and the Browns. Because I'm all for the Browns, right? In the NFC, the 49ers and the 49ers have won the division. The Lions have won the division. The Eagles can win the division this weekend with a Cowboys, actually even with a win. They can win the division with a win. Of course, they play the Commanders, so they should win. Also, if Dallas loses, they'll more than likely clinch the division. All 3 of them teams are tied. The 49ers, they're basically going to clinch the NFC. Because they have the tiebreaker between the Eagles and they should also have the tiebreaker against Detroit. Of course, the Buccaneers are right now leading the NFC South with a win this week. They can clinch. The Cowboys, they've already clinched a playoff spot, so they're in. Right now, 6-7 are the Rams and the Seahawks. On the bubble is the Seahawks. Of course, the Rams Seahawks are both 8-7. The Vikings, Falcons, Packers, and Saints are all 7-8. And then the Bears, they're not eliminated yet. They're 6-9. They're not going to make the playoffs, but for them to not be eliminated already is pretty impressive. So, who gets the final spot in the NFC? Does anything change?
Who really cares? None of these people are going to make it past 4 spots. They all suck.
I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to be out. The Packers are going to be in.
I'm going to say the Saints get in the last spot.
Realize the Saints have to win the next 2 weeks, and you just picked them to lose to the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So you want to change that pick?
Nah, go Packers. I don't think they take someone out, but I think they get the last spot.
Hey, we'd have to play Philly. Hey, that was Jordan Love's first, big game against Philly last year. Could happen. So that is the playoff standings. Of course, more stuff will happen next, which we'll talk about. On to the association, the Pistons set an NBA record with 27 straight losses.
Now.
That's 27.
They lost last night, too.
They did. That was their 27. Of course, the next game, though, you can go ahead and put it as their 28th straight loss. They have a 3% chance to beat the Celtics, because they're not. Luka drops 50 against the Suns on Christmas. Of course, he also passed 10,000 career points. He is the second fastest to do this behind Michael. Ja won Western Conference Player of the Week. Celtics played the Bucks by a game and a half after their win over the Lakers on Christmas. The Bucks also lost to the Knicks. The Nuggets have won 5 straight, including on Christmas. They beat the Warriors, and they're now only a game and a half back at the T-Wolves. Of course, New Year's Eve is just a rivalry for both of us because we have the Packers and Vikings, New Year's Eve. Spurs and Celtics are also playing on New Year's Eve. It'd be so cool if both of my teams won, but that's not going to happen. Wemby did return last night, and Pop said that he's going to make some major changes to the starting lineup because he said he's fed up and he's tired of people not trying. So if people continue to screw up, he's going to make changes. He's already made a change. Golden Johnson's coming off the bench, which I think he should have all year. Just my opinion. Also, Kevin Durant reports that he's not happy in Phoenix.
Is he happy anywhere he goes?
No. Maybe he should realize that it's him.
It is him.
Because the Suns were very good before he got there. And now they're 5-0. I mean, albeit Bradley Beal has only played 2 games. The big three have played 24 minutes together. So, I don't know. He's going to end up forcing his way out again. At this point, just retire.
I wouldn't want you.
I don't want. I think Kevin Durant's very overrated. In my opinion, he has 0 championships.
But he is one of the best scorers of all time.
He's a terrible leader, though. Going to baseball. Yoshi Yamamoto signed a 12-year, $325 million deal with Dodgers. Did you like that move?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We'll get into more of this kind of stuff when we get into a year of review, year-end thing. A lot of Dodger stuff on this one.
Also, the Mariners signed Mitch Garver to a 2-year, $24 million deal. Now, Mitch Garver played very well at the end of the season last year with the Rangers. So it's a big loss for the Rangers. Of course, they have Jonah Heim, but Jonah Heim has not been healthy a lot. So I like the move for the Mariners. They need to do. They've lost so many pieces.
I think it'll be the year when they call a lot of prospects. Maybe we see Haley Ford this year, possibly.
I'm surprised you're not saying Cleon.
I think it's probably yet.
You wish.
I do wish. I love Cole Young, dude. I love him.
Moving on to college football. The bowl games. We're finally here. Thursday. Tomorrow. Today, whenever you'll be listening to this. It's when the ranked matchups start. So we're going to go through every game of ranked teams. We're going to give our prediction.
Oh, boy.
This could be completely off from what I did. ESPN Bowl Mania. I don't remember who I picked for any of these games. So, yeah. So, Thursday, we have 2 ranked matchups. Number 18, NC State versus number 25, Kansas State. Who wins?
NC State.
I'm going with NC State as well. Also, for a lot of these games, you really don't know who's playing because you're going to have people declaring for the draft. You have people who's transferred. So, I think they should make it, if you're going to transfer, it should be after the bowl game.
I think they should make the bowl games in the middle of the year so everybody plays. Bowl games are useless. They're boring to watch because no one plays.
Except for the championship.
Yeah. Make them actually...
I think the only way you could have, do the top, 36 teams in the country. Because they do, the Power 36 or whatever, just like they do in basketball. Do that, and that's all the bowl games. Because all these worthless bowl games, and people, I've been on Twitter where all these college football insiders, there are no worthless bowl games. When there's teams under 500 in a bowl game that nobody knows, or you could have Eastern Michigan, who decided the other day that they were going to fly. They flew 1,000 miles with cinder blocks, because when they ran out, they knocked over cinder blocks. They came out, they got completely murdered. It was 49-10. After the game, they started to fight while the other team was doing their fight song. Just stop with all these crap teams. Nobody cares. Just do ranked teams, do the top 36 so it's even, and just go on with it. It'd be so much easier.
Just do a bracket, kind of like NCAA basketball. Do the top 24 teams, do a bracket, the 1 seeds.
Well, they're going to start that next year with the top 12 teams for the college football playoff.
That's what it should be.
College football has lots of
issues.
Number 14, Arizona. Number 12, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, but Dylan Gable's not playing. He's transferring. So.
I'm going with Oklahoma as well. Friday, there are 2 ranked matchups. 19, Oregon State. Number 16, Notre Dame.
Oregon State.
Notre Dame, I believe their quarterback, whatever his name is, who's not that good anyway. I believe he declared for the draft, so he's not playing. I'm going to go with Oregon State. Number 9, Mizzou. Number 7, Ohio State. I don't get why this game is not on Monday.
Mizzou.
I'm also going Mizzou because more than likely, Marvin Harrison Jr. will not play because he's expected to declare for the draft. On Saturday, number 11, Ole Miss. Number 10, Penn State. I'm going with Ole Miss. Number 6, Georgia. Number 5, Florida State. The best game besides college football play. Although it won't be.
Georgia.
It's going to be a beatdown. Georgia's going to beat down number 5, Florida State. Monday, I just had to throw this on here. Wisconsin versus 13 LSU. Jane Daniels not playing because he declared. Go with Wisconsin. Wisconsin, we get the upset, get the win. Bucky the Badger on top. We're coming for the college football playoff next year. Coming for the championship with Tyler Van Dyke. It changes now on Wisconsin. I'm doing the W. You can't see it. I'm doing the W. Number 23, Liberty. Number 8, Oregon. I'm also going to Oregon. Number 17, Iowa. Number 21, Tennessee. I'm also going Tennessee. Hopefully Iowa actually puts up a point, unlike they did against Michigan. Then the college football playoff starts Monday at 4 o'clock. The first game is number 4, Alabama. Number 1, Michigan.
I'm going Alabama.
I'm going with Michigan. The next game, number 3, Texas. Number 2, Washington.
Texas.
I'm also going with Texas. So you have Alabama and Texas. Who wins?
Texas.
I have Michigan and Texas. I believe Texas wins it all. Texas is finally back.
Who's the QB?
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They will not have, if Quinn Ewers gets hurt, their backup transferred, so their backup now is a freshman, Arch Manning.
Oh, yeah. So they're still kind of set.
Yeah. Going on to college basketball, not much has happened this week because nobody's played since, last Saturday. Number 5, UConn got upset by Seton Hall on Wednesday. Wednesday was just a bunch of upsets. 21 Duke took down number 10 Baylor. Number 11 UNC took down number 7 Oklahoma. Villanova upset number 12 Creighton. Of course, that's 2 upsets in the Big 12. That was their first games in the Big 12 that they've played in against each other. And then on Saturday, number 14 FAU, they beat number 4 Arizona 96-95 in overtime. So the new rankings, the top 5 basically stayed the same. Purdue's 1, Kansas is 2, 3 is Houston, 4 is Arizona, and UConn is number 5. FAU has the highest ranking in school history. They are number 7.
Oh, good.
They are. So now we're going to do, that's all the sports.
If you're still here listening.
Yeah. So, you should be. So, recap of the year. We're going to recap.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of things. We're going to start out with your favorite moment of the year. You will go first. I will go second.
I have 2.
I know what one's going to be.
I went with my favorite moment being a Reds fan. I went with Ellie Cycle as my first pick. Just because there's an actual, moment. But my favorite moment is actually Noel Marte getting called up this year and playing really well. You probably did not expect that, or you've been a long-time listener.
I expect it to be number 1.
Well, I didn't put Noel as a moment because a moment to me is like a play or something like that. So I didn't think it qualified, but I still wanted to say it.
I had a very good year in sports for all my favorite teams, although we're all trash. There was a lot of favorite moments that I could have picked from. You know, the Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard.
I know yours.
The Packers actually starting Jordan Love, getting rid of Aaron Rodgers. The Nationals getting Dylan Cruz.
Yeah.
For the favorite moment, you knew it was going to be this. The Spurs getting Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
It's got to be my favorite moment. Although it has not worked out very well. He's been playing great. The team's just trash. Still my favorite.
Yeah. And we don't know what each of those things are, so it's kind of a shock.
The next one is the best single game performance.
I went with Olin Collins' 5 goals in the game.
Wow, I thought you were going to go with Ellie Cycle.
I did not. I think it's more impressive getting 5 goals in soccer, especially in the league he plays.
It's very impressive, but I'm going to go with the rookie C.J. Stroud in Week 9. This is his 9th start of the season against the Buccaneers, where he put up 470 yards and 5 touchdowns against the Buccaneers. That really started C.J. Stroud train, and he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. The next one, the most underrated team of the year.
There's 2 teams. But I chose one, and I chose the one I know the best. I went with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I also went to Diamondbacks. I mean, they shouldn't even been in the playoffs, let alone making it to the World Series after taking down both the Dodgers
and the Braves. The 2
Braves.
powerhouses of the NL.
No, the Phillies. It was the Phillies.
Yeah.
It's the Braves lost.
Yeah.
Most overrated team.
I went with the Phoenix Suns.
I went with the Purdue Boilermakers basketball team. I mean, a 1 seed losing to a 16 seed again.
Yeah.
Best athlete.
I don't like the guy, but It's Shohei Ohtani.
I went with Erling Haaland. I mean, he broke the record for most goals in a season in the Premier League.
Yeah. I was going to go with Erling, but I'm like, I have too much Erling Haaland.
You could also say Cristiano Ronaldo, because he does have the most goals this year, although he plays in the Saudi League and nobody plays in it.
And he's 38.
Who cares? Messi's still better.
Yeah.
The most overrated or underwhelming athlete of the year.
I went with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, just because of the signing. He does not deserve that much. You tell me he deserves more than Garrett Cole, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner? Come on now. This is ridiculous.
He hasn't even stepped foot on the MLB
I don't give a
field.
crap. It's overrated. The contract's overrated.
My most overrated...
This freaking dog's overrated. Screw that ugly-looking dog. Who's a freaking Bale? Ugly. So.
Okay. My most overrated or underwhelming athlete was Justin Thomas to be one of the best PGA players in the world, or just to be one of the best golfers in the world, and to not even make the FedEx Cup playoffs.
That's
and
sad.
Not being in the top 75 is just flat out. New Year, best youngest team for all the top. I'm going to go with the top 3 sports because hockey I don't really follow that much. So we're going to start off in the MLB.
I went with the Baltimore Orioles.
I also went with the Orioles. I can't believe you didn't go with the Reds. The Association.
I went with the Thunder. I mean, they're already kind of proving it now.
I also went with the Thunder. There's another sneaky team, though, and I hate saying it because
Rockets?
I hate them, but the Houston Rockets. I hate saying it. The Spurs, we're going to be good eventually. In like 3 years. Maybe next year we'll get, like Nikola Topic or Isaiah Collier. Then the next year you get Cooper Flag. And then by that time, Wemby's going to be like, I want out.
Yeah.
The NFL.
Texans.
I also went with the Texans. Wow. So every single one. The biggest thing that happened this year, news-wise in sports.
Shohei signing.
I went with the PGA and LIV merger. Came out of absolutely nowhere. And I still don't know the full details of it. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
But it just came out of nowhere whenever both leagues hated each other. And then they merged. So, there you go. The best rookie of the year.
I went with Corbin Carroll. He led his team to the World Series.
I also went with Corbin Carroll. The biggest trade that happened.
The only one that I really could think of was the Aaron Rodgers.
I also went with Aaron Rodgers, just because, screw Aaron. And that allowed Jordan Love to start. Jordan Love's better. The worst trade of the year.
That's no doubt it's the Panthers' first pick.
Yeah, it is. I also went with that. It's really bad. The best team of the year.
Probably had to go with the Nuggets.
I also went with the Nuggets. I mean, they came off of winning the championship, dominating the Heat in the finals last year. They're second in the West again. And they have a very good chance of getting back to the finals. I also added on after that, the most dominant athlete or team of the year.
I went with Jokic. I'd go with Jokic as the most dominant player.
Most dominant was Max Verstappen. I mean, winning all but 3 races.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do, Mason. It's not easy to win, Mason.
So those are our recap of the year. Tell us what your favorite everything was. DM us. Tell us on the YouTube tab. Comment. Forgot what I was going to say. Comment on the YouTube. Tell us your favorite thing of the year. That's all we have.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it at that. Next week, we will get back into the NFL playoff race. There should be quite a few clinches this weekend. We're talking about, the bowl games, and specifically the college football playoff. We will preview the college football championship game, which is January the 8th on a Monday. For some stupid reason. I requested it off from work. And, that's about all that's going on with basketball. But basketball is in that time where you're just waiting until the trade deadline. Isn't that you're past Christmas? Like, you had the hype up of in the beginning of the season, you had the hype up of the in-season tournament, you had the hype of the Christmas. Now it's just like, let's just get to the trade deadline, and then you know who's going to be the contenders. So thank you guys for listening. Come back here next week, and as always, peace. Have a happy New Year.
Yeah, have a happy, safe New Year, and thank you for listening for this whole year.
Yes.
And hope you
We're
come
2
back.
years down.
Hopefully you come back next year.
2 years down.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like 2 years. Thank you guys for listening. Back here next week. Come back here next year. You saw what I did there. Peace.